We already knew what was going on, but now it's official that Cameron Smith, the second highest ranked player in the professional golf world, is leaving the PGA to join the LIV Golf Series, making Greg Norman a very happy man. Join us in today's video to find out how Greg Norman lured Cameron Smith to LIV Golf, what Norman actually said, and how this advancement would affect the careers of golfers. Let's start with, why is Greg Norman so happy? Even if everyone in the world is against golfers joining the LIV Golf Series, there will always be a man who loves and appreciates these guys. That's none other than Greg Norman, the boss of LIV Golf. The golf league that's backed by Saudi Arabia has already said that they will be announcing the names of 7 new members. And guess what? The names that have been in the news for a few months now were there. We don't find it funny or surprising that some people just can't keep a secret. Anyway, Cameron Smith and Marc Leishman's names were already on that list that was just released, and Norman had a lot to say about it. So we get why he's so happy. After all, this is the first time LIV has been able to get some important golfers. No offense, but most of the golfers who are playing for the Saudi-funded league have already won many times in the past. So money was probably the only thing they needed now. Players like Cam and Marc still have a long way to go. However, Leishman didn't face as much controversy as Cameron Smith, probably because of their difference in rankings. Moreover, it turns out, no one was really surprised by this confirmation either. After all, we've known about this for months, and the hip discomfort also makes much more sense now. Next up, here's what Norman said. Norman is happy, and not just happy, but very happy, and that depicts in his statements too. Everyone knows that Norman has always wanted to come up with an alternative to the PGA Tour. It's been a dream all his life, and now he can do it as the CEO and commissioner of LIV Golf. So now his dream has come true, which means that whenever LIV is able to sign a great golfer, Norman is sure to have a big part. After the list was made public, people asked the LIV commissioner about this advancement. He replied that LIV Golf is now showing everyone that it's a truly global league, attracting the world's best golfers, and will keep growing in the future. Not only that, but he also said that the best and brightest golfers continue to embrace what LIV Golf has to offer, and that they're building a tangible league for team golf. This would bring golf to the attention of new people all over the world. Norman says that LIV can't wait to start at the International this week and give fans another amazing and memorable show. So, isn't this defection purely personal for Smith? While we're talking about this, it's important to point out that Smith and Marc are 2 of the few golfers who never had a political opinion about golf. Even if they did, they never told anyone else about them. You must be wondering why we're talking about this right now. Well, let's talk about how not having any political view affects the angle from which fans view their decision. So as far as we know, Smith and Marc never talked about the political side of golf, and they also never took a side. This means that they chose to join the LIV Golf Series for their own reasons. In addition, it tells us that the choice wasn't just to spend a huge amount of money, but also to play in tournaments where there could only be 48 people. Not only that, but it also means they'll have to play over 54 holes on courses that aren't the best. In short, they aren't getting anything else in return besides the money. These top golfers didn't do this to compete with the PGA Tour or the DP World. Instead, they did it to beat players like Lahiri and Tringali, who have never won on a PGA Tour event. Apparently, it's more like a downgrade for such golfers. Smith knew what it would be like to play in a league where he would likely be the only one with the world's top label. So that's why he said he was ready to cope with the heat. Just imagine the 29-year-old who just won his first major at the British Open, won 3 times in 2022, and has always played against world-class golfers. But now, playing tournaments that won't bring him any titles or points against golfers who aren't the best in the world. No offense intended, but that makes us sad for a golfer having a career like Smith's at the age of 29, which is already good enough, although not perfect in golf. A golfer's entire career is only worth as much as how many majors he's won, because the game of golf is more about leaving a mark and doing the best you can for your country. Well, we don't know if any of that will happen now, since golf analyst Brandel Chambly said that Smith and Marc's move to LIV will lead to fewer career opportunities and accomplishments. In fact, LIV has kept golf fans from seeing just how great some of these golfers could be. As usual, the older golfers are cashing in on their past success, which is fine, but the fact that the younger ones are getting into all this trouble will hurt their legacy. Not just that, this is a major loss for the PGA Tour. Marc Leishman's move may not have been that bad for the PGA Tour, but we can't say the same about Smith's. After all, he was one of the best players on the tour and had won many times. Even though it's probably the best news so far, the PGA Tour would lose a lot if this happened. He's won a lot of tournaments, including the Open Championship and the Players' Championship. He was supposed to be the defending champion at these tournaments next year, and it looks like he will be there to do so. In addition, it hurts the tour's case against LIV Golf. At the same time, the PGA no longer has any control over these players. For LIV, the best way to market itself is to have great golfers to show off at events. After all, there must be something special about it. It's not like good golfers are going for it without reason. This means that the PGA will have to work a lot harder now because the LIV Golf Series won't stop bringing in money. The other golfers who've joined LIV along with Cameron Smith and Marc Leishman. 4 other golfers have confirmed their participation in the controversial Saudi-backed league. Their names include Joaquin Niemann, Anirban Lahiri, Harold Varner III, and Cameron Tringali. Apparently, another golfer was set to join this group but decided to stay with the PGA instead. Yes, we're talking about Hideki Matsuyama. The Japanese golfer turned down a deal to leave the PGA Tour that would have paid him $580 million. This means that the PGA hasn't lost it all. Still, they have some of the best golfers so far. Not so surprisingly, the amount of money these golfers received is big. Cameron Smith is all over the news at the moment, which means you must know how much money he made from the Saudi Golf Series. If you still don't know, the golfer left the PGA Tour for $150 million. Just like that, Joaquin Niemann has also received about $100 million for joining this controversial series along with Leishman. We're still not sure, but we think that the pay he got was also more than $100 million. Even though he's not in the top 5 golfers, we can't deny that he's still very good. Harold Varner III reportedly accepted about $50 million from the LIV Golf Series, but we can't be sure because the sources that have been reporting this aren't authentic. However, we do have some reasons to think that the amount falls somewhere in this range. Varner's made about $10 million in his career on the PGA Tour, so yes, he probably deserves $50 million. But we love Harold because he was the only golfer who told the truth about why he wanted to be in the LIV Golf Series. He went to his social media pages and told everyone he had joined LIV. Well, we don't know how much the other golfers got, but let's just say the amounts were big enough to convince them of this. So that's a wrap for today's video. What are your thoughts about Cameron Smith? Do you think Greg Norman would be able to acquire more of these world-class professional golfers in the LIV Golf Series? Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. For more exciting content like this, give the video a thumbs up and we'll see you in the next one.